on my YouTube channel as well.
Oh boy.
Yep.
All right. Hello.
Hello, everybody. Sorry, I'm over here trying to get everything squared away, but no, man. Captain Bob, I appreciate you coming on the show and everything like that, though. But kind of before we get into what Cardania is doing and everything that you guys are doing, just tell us a little bit about yourself and how'd you get all the way here to Web3?
Yeah. So my name's Chris. I go by Captain Bob on Twitter. You can find me on there.
So jealous.
So
So
silly.
I used to be called Captain Jack a long time ago, and then the name didn't kind of like transition here. So I was like, oh man,
You can always bring it back, man. You can always
nah,
bring it back.
apparently it's dead.
Ah, jeez. Yeah. We go through different identity phases, I think, in
Mm,
our life. And but yeah, I was. They started calling me captain in Cardiff because I was an army captain back in a previous life, shooting artillery back in the day. And once I got out of the military, I started doing like marketing stuff, and I'd always kind of been into crypto. I think since like 2014 or so was when I started getting into like mining Dogecoin and just learning more about it back then. It was all obviously very different, super early days. And so I've been in crypto in various ways since then, and we started building in earnest on Cardano in like 2021 or so. And Cardania is like our space station, where we're building different features out. We have some live games, and now we're starting to stack some mining on top of it. But yeah, I'm the founder, and I'm basically the team is relatively small. We're relatively small and agile. I do some of the development, but our lead developer's name is Eustasia. He's a big dev in the Cardano space. He's helped a lot of different projects out, and yeah, that's kind of that's just kind of the short story of it. There's a whole lot more there. Our Web3 Connect portal is nexus.cardania.com. If you want to just read about the project, that's at cardania.com. And yeah, I don't know where you want to go.
man, actually, and that's actually great though because you guys have such a kind of like a big kind of like ecosystem, right? Which and I remember you guys, man. I want to say when I first got into NFT, like it's been about a couple of years. I'm going to say, if not 2 years, at least a year and a half, right? Which you guys kind of been building though. But if you can kind of give somebody that's new, that's kind of watching this kind of quick walkthrough on like how to get immersed in the Cardania ecosystem.
Yeah. So first, I would just join the Discord, discord.gg/Cardania.
Mm.
We have a really like a very active, super fun community. Um, And if you're wanting to actually like engage with the stuff we've built, I would say look at Epic Wars first, which is our it's a live Web3 strategy game. It's all multiplayer, and basically every epic, which is sort of Cardano's, the way that they measure time every 5 days, based on like block production. Every 5 days, the map resets, and then new rewards become available. You can attack new neighbors and earn rewards that way. Rad is our native token on Cardano. It's a Cardano native token, and you can earn Rad through playing, and you can also play. There's two other live games as well. We've got Nebula Run, which is like our racer. It's a little starship racer, and then
Mm.
there's we've got what was it? I think we're calling it Void Squid. It's just like a little retro arcade game that we've got on there as well. That's a cool way to earn some like bonus rad. And so those are all live right now at nexus.cardania.com. And then I would say for those who are interested in games that are kind of like Hearthstone, we are working on a game called Enter the Ultraverse, which is like a like a Hearthstone type competitive trading card game, and that is in development. It's still going to be a little while. Yeah, I'm actually trying to get us a bit more cross chain before we drop the game itself because,
Oh,
yeah, as we alluded to, we were kind of backstage when we were talking about Cardano's. I'm basically trying to get us more people involved before we drop that because right now I think I could drop a really great game on it on Cardano and like 500 people would care. So. I'm just trying to. I'm opening up the Nexus for more chains as like right now as a kind of a priority.
and what are some of those chains that you are interested in?
Well, Bitcoin's number one. I'm a big fan of the ordinals update. I'm a big fan of the runes update for Bitcoin.
Mhm.
For those who have not been following along with that, do go look that stuff up. But basically, it's non-fungible tokens and fungible tokens on top of Bitcoin. I consider Bitcoin sort of a sister chain to Cardano, or sort of, like really the father chain to Cardano. Cardano was built with extended UTXO. Bitcoin is built with UTXO. And for anyone who's been following El Ralito on Twitter, and the Fluid token folks, you can kind of see how these ecosystems are going to interact, I think, in the near future. And they're going to be extremely tight. It's going to be very easy to transfer value between them. So that's very exciting because Bitcoin's obviously the biggest capital chain, and Cardano has a capital problem, right? Like a liquidity problem. So I think there's a lot of value there, and so Bitcoin's kind of my first integration, and we're actually launching. So we've launched. We got two things happening with Bitcoin right now. Our Nexus Miner collection, which is active right now on Cardano. We're also going to have an ordinal side to that collection, which is going to be launching in about next 24, 48 hours or so. Basically, as soon as I get it done, and put it out there, and then we'll be able to start talking to the ordinals community. And I think they're going to be really interested in the miners because we are mining Bitcoin. So there's kind of like a lot of synergy there. And then we also have our Runes token, which is called Galactic Goods. We've 100% minted out that supply, and our RAD token holders have been allocated. We started with like 30% allocation, but I think it's going to be even more than that. And it's going to make a one-time swap that you'll be able to swap into Galactic Goods, which I think is a great deal because there's only 21 million supply. RAD supply is about 15 billion, so I think there's a lot of value to be had there, and then obviously that token being on Bitcoin, perhaps a lot higher liquidity, and it gives us just some optionality for how we're building stuff, and gives our holders a little bit more optionality for where they want to be participating the most.
Okay, yeah, go and you said like cross chain too as well. Like you said, you're gonna start like on Bitcoin. Like you have like a top like another like two that you're trying to also go to as well, like Base, Polygon, or that's kind of just like Bitcoin's kind of be the kind of place you're gonna be focusing on right now.
Well, so Bitcoin I think is spiritually and technically the smartest one at the moment. I have done some more exploring, and we've had some outreach with like Polygon. I'm a little interested in. Though I will say I'm kind of interested in Base and Solana as well. Not like I'm a little bit. How do I describe this? There's two different considerations, right? There's liquidity, and then there's like architecture.
Yeah.
I'm a little skeptical of building NFT collections on Solana, just because I'm a little skeptical of the chain architecture, and I get worried that like one day those won't exist there. Like whatever I build there just will explode because the chain explodes or whatever. And that may be an unfounded fear. I may just be wrong about that. So I'm trying to approach these things with a little bit of humility, and just say, you know what, maybe we'll build a few different things on several different chains and bring it together and just see how it goes. And I think that's probably the best approach. But Bitcoin's number one for now, and then I think after that we might even have the community just vote on it. Like, what do you guys, where do you guys want to go next? I'm interested in hearing people's opinions because I've heard Polygon, I've heard Cosmos, I've heard Radix, I've heard.
I haven't heard of that in a while. Radix.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's so many chains at this point. Also, all of these updates that are coming to Bitcoin are also going to Dogecoin and Litecoin because it's the same. It's the same thing basically. So it's like, I don't know, we could integrate Dogecoin too as well if we wanted to. It's just kind of, we need to find that sweet spot of liquidity and value, and like also technical interoperability. So that's kind of where we're at with it.
Yeah, no, and also too, like with your terraform, like all the terraforms and everything like that. I also wanted to jump into that too. Like I know there's certain different ones. Is there like certain ones give you like certain perks, right? And the kind of like the land aspect of it, or you kind of go a little bit more into that.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want me to share screen? By the way, I could do. I
Yeah,
could
go
do.
ahead. Yeah,
Show some,
share it up
let me show some folks.
so people
And then
can.
do you
Yeah,
have a
definitely.
link? I still have. I was gonna toss it up in Discord, and I haven't yet. I was gonna send everybody
Yeah, I sent you
over
some
here
on Discord, right?
on
Right,
Discord.
meow.
Sweet, thank you, sir. let me drop this into our channel here.
Yeah, I wanted to start doing like live too because I was like, man, we'll just do it live. We'll do live because I do a lot of pre-recorded. I
Just
also
do
want
it
to do
live,
live
baby.
too as well.
I like doing stuff live. It feels a little it's genuine, you
Yeah.
know. And it's not quite as cut and polished as like a produced
Hmm.
video, but I think people are fine with that. I think.
Yeah.
Um,
People were, yeah, people were just anyway.
yeah. Okay. Here, let me put out a tweet here real quick. There we go. Marshasaurus tweeted for us. Thank you. Well done, sir. All right. Let's go. So let me. Boop, 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 boop. Sorry, I've got too many windows open here, but almost got this here. Share screen. I'll go to terraforms over here. Okay, so check out. These are Cardania terraforms you can get on JPEG Store. You guys able to see that? Okay,
Yep.
beautiful. And yeah, this is kind of our flagship collection. These are basically mining NFTs, but sort of it was like old. It's almost like old school mining at this point because it's like, you know, the resource tokens are fungible tokens, and then each of these have different data in them or metadata in them. So like this is a volcanic type terraform, so it's going to produce some magma. It doesn't have any water. It's not going to produce any water. It's got forests, though, right? It's got forests, so it's going to produce some wood. And then let's see. Yeah, no minerals on that one. So that one's kind of like a little more barren than the average terraform, but that's probably why it's on the floor too. You go over, like, let's look at this one here real quick. Yeah, this one's got copper ore, and it's producing. This is a prismaleaf trees, so you're gonna get some prismaleaf out of that. And we recently launched on the Nexus, which heck we'll go over there right now too. Why not?
Yeah.
We recently
Go through
launched.
it all.
Yeah, why
I
not?
love y'all's logo, by the way.
Oh,
Man, it is
thank you.
so sweet.
Oh, thank you, dude. Yeah.
Oh man,
Uh,
like I don't know where did you guys get that from? Like I've seen that somewhere, but I just can't put my finger on it.
I just kind of made it up. So I basically when I was conceiving of the station, the whole thing was like I was very like artistically interested in Cardano as a concept. So I was like, this will be like a big C for Cardano,
Yeah,
which is cool. Except like the Cardano brand has been a little rough to defend the last couple of years, but it's fine. It's
it's
like
been a it's been a little bland, man. Not gonna lie. We'll kind of get into that here a little bit too, though,
you
because
know,
everyone thinks that I don't know, man. I've been a little critical of Cardano as of late, though, but it's all in the best because that's where I started. Yeah, that's where honestly that's where started in the NFT ecosystem in the sense of like Mutant Toads. I don't know if you remember them, and where else did I get? Oh, and Isometric World. They rugged, and I believe I don't know if Mutant Toad's still around though, but yeah, no, man. I want all the best for Cardano.
yeah. I mean, it's been a crazy like this is the thing. It's been a crazy whirlwind since like 2021 since NFTs even launched. You're right. This is a whole side quest conversation. We'll get there in a minute.
Yeah,
Where are we done? So yeah, so this is the Nexus. This is the Nexus, nexus.cardania.com. This is our Web3 hub. Um, everything you can do everything here, right? So each epic you can harvest rewards based on your lands. Even if you don't have lands, if you're just delegated to the pool, to the summoning pool, which is our stake pool, you can also harvest some additional rad rewards there. We've recently launched a resource exchange, which is so cool. This is almost like a Dex. It's almost like a mini Dex, but it's just with our resources, and you can kind of see the recent activity here. So resources that you're earning from your terraforms, you're able to swap for rad. If you can find some buyers, you gotta fiddle with the price, see what people are willing to buy. But yeah, some people are selling, they're getting 1 million rad there, 4.42 million rad, and you can swap that rad for ADA. So not too bad, and that's all live right now at the Nexus. You can also see this is kind of a cool feature too. Each You can see the circulating supply of rad as well as the circulating supply of each resource. So you can kind of value that appropriately for yourself. And there's 40 of them, so it's like there's a lot. There's like a lot happening there. In addition to that, there's Epic Wars. There's a whole leaderboard for it you can check out, see who's winning. If you have terraforms, you can actually go to the map and attack other people. I won't go into all that right now because we could spend the next hour and a half doing all that. But There's 7 different factions you can join if you do want to play. Um, and then as you're fighting, you're basically scoring points for your faction. Or let's see, right now our leaders are Wax Fig and Crater Ellis. This epic. Good job, guys. And we this is the other thing. There's a lot of players. We actually have hundreds of players every single epic playing this thing, which is just crazy cool.
See, it's
And
like
then
well thought out. And
you know, it wasn't well organized though, because I'm just kind of a crazy person, and the recent Nexus update kind of brought it all together in a great way. So, shout out to our devs for that.
Im- was it Imperators are the best faction?
The Imperators, yes, they're kind of
Imperators?
modeled off of like kind of like Starship Troopers type thing.
Okay.
Uh, they're basically like or what's that more recent game, Helldivers? The Helldivers are actually like that's very similar to how I kind of conceived of the
I get
Imperator
smoked in that
faction.
game.
They do, yeah, it's a lot of
Yeah,
fun.
man, I'm getting yeah. It's not good for me on that, right? And I see that what y'all have built and everything everything like that. It's been like you guys have been around for a while. I remember you guys, like I said when I first got in here, like how tough has it been, like building in like this bear market? If you can kind of like go into that a little bit more.
It's been I think like money wise it hasn't been as hard just because I knew the bear market was coming because I've been through these before. So
Hmm.
when we made money, I didn't immediately go out and just spend it all on a bunch of crazy stuff. The most money I spent was like on artists for the cards, which actually it came out beautifully. But so I knew we were gonna have to survive this like crypto winter, and we've got a few different revenue streams. So, like we do NFT sales, but we've also got royalties for the NFTs, and every single card is bringing us royalties too, right? So this is like a pretty big set because each pack that was opened uh, produced 7 cards, right? So each of those produces royalties for us every time it trades. You can level these cards inside the Nexus, which we collect some small fees on Nexus transactions. And then we've got the stake pool also produces us a little bit of income. Stake was summoned, by the way, for anybody who's looking for a stake pool. Great rewards. And so we've got multiple income streams there. And so we did okay through the bear market, though it became pretty clear to me at a certain point that like mining NFTs, I think we're basically like NFTs that are producing things for the holders, I think are simply going to win. Um, I think they make a lot of sense. I think they're really, really interesting and early assets. Like I think in 20 years, digital assets like this are going to just be amazing. I think people are going to look back and be like, "Wait, you were buying NFTs in like 2024? That's
Yeah.
amazing." I just do, and I have faith in sort of the general concept around this because I come from like a stock trading background. I come from like a like more traditional like business background. I know at least that word a little bit, and a lot of the stuff there just doesn't make a lot of sense. Starting with like the money's fake, so like that's number one, and that just is what it is. So it's like I'd way rather build our crazy spaceship here. And yeah, we'll ride through bear markets, and it'll be tough. But you know what? It'll be way worth it. It'll be way worth it in the end. So,
Yeah,
um,
you made it here. I mean, like you guys survived because there was a ton of projects that didn't make it. More
yeah,
than
man.
I can actually like, list out here too as well. So for you guys to be like, building and just kind of grinding through this market, it just says anybody here that's gonna invest that you guys have been here building, not just something that somebody just pops up in the good times. Which I believe a lot of these founders that rugged or no longer here will come back. Sometime early. This I'm sorry, late this year, probably early next year as well. And as you're talking about NFTs, right? And kind of want to get more like kind of into that too as well. As far as the tech and the technology, I heard that you're very bullish on it, right? Though, but where do you kind of see the NFT tech itself, kind of like in the next like 5 years or so?
Well, I think, and part of why I'm like building on Bitcoin now is that I really think a lot is just going to depend on like regulations, right? Uh, so ordinals, for instance, I'm so stoked on because Bitcoin's basically gotten the stamp of approval from
Mm.
the various powers that be. And similarly, I think Cardano will as well. The non-custodial nature of it, um, and the UTXO nature of it as well. There's the with staking as well. Like part of what I was so stoked about with Cardano, what we're building here, was the liquid staking, non-custodial liquid staking as a technology itself. Like blows my damn mind. Anyway, so I think NFTs are just going to continue to mature. They're going to start making a lot more sense. Like the PFP thing initially, I think was really just sort of it kind of makes sense. People want to have like identities and stuff tied to this. But you can't just speculate on hype forever is the main thing. Like
Yeah.
I think NFTs simply have to produce stuff in order to be competitive. And I think what we're just going to see sort of a maturation of like digital assets as a concept, different models for what that looks like. I like our model as sort of a reward pass. It's like, because it keeps the holder liquid as well. It's like, look, if let's say Cardania, or let's say whatever project you're in, is not producing in a way that you would like them to, you can sell it. You sell that NFT. You're still liquid. You still get some. You still get to some compensation there, and I think that's great. It's tough. It's tough to find that kind of like instant permissionless type of liquidity elsewhere for this type of asset. So I don't know. I'm very excited about it, and I don't know exactly where it goes. I suspect there's going to be some innovations that nobody even thinks of between now and then. But between just like the collectability of like, it's a crazy like Venn diagram of like, look, collectibles have always needed blockchain. It's amazing, especially for like cards. Oh my god, it's perfect. Like Pokemon and Magic the Gathering both got in trouble the last couple years because it turns out they were printing way too much. Like
Hmm.
their supposedly rare cards just weren't that rare. So if anyone who's a collector of anything is going to be wanting to integrate with blockchain, and is going to want to get familiar with it, because otherwise, what are you actually collecting? You have no idea. You just like it just is what it is. So I think that, and then I think also just this sort of like this fintech side of things where it's like, oh my gosh, this stuff starts, because it's so publicly auditable too, it starts making a lot more sense than a lot of other just traditional assets. And I know I'm not the only one that thinks that, because BlackRock's buying Bitcoin right now, so they're
Oh
they're
yeah.
they're figuring this stuff out. Um, so I don't know. I'm just excited to be here and just kind of ride it. I'm like, woo, let's go. You know.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, I'm kind of interested to see where this kind of goes, though. But in your kind of opinion too, as well. Like, do you think that like just PFP projects are kind of dead in general?
No, no. I think PFP. I think PFP projects hit on. Also, sorry, my lamb is screaming outside there. I hope you
It's
guys don't hear
okay.
that. It's so funny.
I love it.
She's so silly. Um, anyway, no, I think PFPs are going to be just fine. I think PFPs hit on uh, the simplicity of them, and then the fact that people can sort of tie their identities to it is genius. And then they're almost like their own. They're almost like their own like little medium at this point. Like I think people associate NFTs with PFPs now. I don't know if that's always going to be the case, but it feels like that's what really caught, and so I think there's going to be some market for that for a while. We haven't actually really done a PFP project yet, and I really want to. Maybe we'll do it on Ordinals. We've done
Oh,
Citizens, but Citizens weren't even really a PFP because they all kind of have the same face. That was more like a 3D, like we were doing like a whole avatar type thing. Um, but I don't know. I think they're going to be just fine though. I think PFPs are a good way to hook people.
yeah. But do you think though that we'll have like that same kind of euphoric run that we had maybe about like a year or so, well, almost like 2 years ago, like NFTs, where you remember you're seeing like bored apes like at 100 ETH and stuff like that, and I mean everybody, it was crazy,
Man.
man. Do you think we see that type of run again?
So here's what I think happens, and I don't know if we'll ever see a run like that again. However, what I do think is going to happen is that the cycle basically resets every time that Bitcoin does, and we're almost there, right? It's like the post
Almost.
halving time. We hit this post halving
Hmm.
time. Bitcoin does some crazy repricing into some insane number, and then everyone goes, "What the hell just happened?" And then like, it's like it seems like the whole cycle just starts over again. And then at some point in there, there's an NFT craze. and it may be a little bit more regional at this point. When I say regional, I mean like blockchain regional. Like maybe it's not Ethereum this time. Maybe it's Solana, or maybe it's Base or something.
or Ordinals, or yeah.
Yeah, maybe it'll be Cardano, but we'll see.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Um, yeah. I think we're gonna see it in some form. Like, I think it's gonna be more towards the end, right? Like, right, of course, like right as Bitcoin hits that all time high, I think everybody's gonna kind of get their profits, and then that's when we're gonna have like maybe not like that, but it'll be something similar like to that. And as far as we can kind of transition into this too as well, right? Like Cardano, right? Like in a sense of the NFT ecosystem, and actually Cardano itself, right? As of late, right, and it's been kind of like a long time kind of coming, maybe for about a year or so or more. People have talked about like, hey man, Cardano doesn't have like culture. Cardano doesn't have like nobody wants to come here. Like it's just you know uh, Charles is kind of removed from the from some of these projects, right? The foundation
yeah,
isn't really not very supportive in that aspect, and all these
yeah.
different things, right? And do you share that some of those same sentiments, or what's kind of your opinion on all that?
Okay, there's a lot
A
there.
lot.
So I think I think first I'll say that Cardano does actually have a lot of great people in it. Like the community that we've built, I love so much. I have so much fun with them every single day. Um, it's they're kind of everyone's kind of siloed off in different projects and stuff though. I will say that I think like Cardano has suffered from what is basically like a large scale psyop against it, because you've basically got these big pump groups that
Hmm.
exist to pump their bags, and God bless them for it. But Cardano is a little bit of a threat to them, and when it's not being a threat to them, it's a good punching bag, right? It's
Yeah.
really funny. Like it's funny to just pick on them, because Cardano people also get very defensive, and I think they've been so beaten down the last couple of years that like they get so defensive on Twitter. It's like, you guys, we're just talking about like blockchains. Like, who cares? Like, who if they don't
Yeah.
like your chain, who cares? Um, it's a little tough. And the other thing is that projects suffer because, um, like for me, I was like, what are we talking about? Like, people talking about like leaving a chain or something. I'm like, what are you talking about? We just build a thing and we build another thing on top of it. Like we're adding Bitcoin into the Nexus. We're not like breaking up with Cardano. Like, what are we like that?
Yeah.
That's. But I know some projects have done that. They've just said, hey, we're leaving the chain, which I think is just crazy to me. Um, I will say it would be nice to see more support from the foundation. I do think there's a mindset at sort of those top echelons. They they've told me this at some events too. It was like they didn't really expect the whole NFT thing when it happened,
Hmm.
um, because it was still relatively new in like Ethereum, right? That was sort of like the birth, like Bored Apes and all that was popping off. But these types of people are not paying attention to what's popping off. These are MBAs, and they're business projections, and they're looking at DeFi and stuff like that. So that was like their main focus. This NFT thing, games, all that stuff, I think would completely not like blindsided them, but it was like it wasn't their focus. And then when they realized that there's a lot of interest in it, they're like, wait, what? What is this? And I think it was like the reactions we got there were mostly just confusion. Was a lot of it, and also that maybe it was a little distracting from what they felt their mission was, right? Because a lot of the people at the top there are very like, hey, let's change the world. We're building a decentralized financial platform for the world, which is great, but like baby steps, man, baby steps. And also because it's a decentralized system, if people are using it in these other ways that they really like, you gotta facilitate that. You gotta enjoy it. You gotta like play with it a little bit. And so I think that was sort of that first weirdness. Like we couldn't even post on the Cardano subreddit for a
Yeah.
while. It was nuts, and it was like they were like, no, we have rules. Like if you have a stake pool, you can't advertise your stake pool, and you can't advertise NFTs. And I was like, my business is a stake pool and NFTs exclusively on Cardano. I was like, why? And I'm also like, wait, you're promote like because this is another thing. They were promoting these DeFi things over there, which were multi-million-dollar rugs. And I was
Yeah.
like, you guys, why is this project over here, which is a rug, but it's a DeFi rug, why is that better than us talking about this NFT project or the stake pool over here, which is like actively bringing users in and actively contributing to the ecosystem. And it became this whole deal. Like they had to go to the forum and like there was some voting or something on it. And anyway, I guess they eventually changed some rules, but like I do think the foundation and that whole thing suffers from a lot of like bureaucracy. But again, it's a decentralized system. So it's like I just worry about what we do and making our stuff better and then, you know, and see how it goes. I hope I do hope the Cardano culture improves because there's a lot to
Yeah.
be confident and proud of here, and it just seems like it gets overshadowed by sort of like sort of loud, like noisy bully type people, but
Yep.
like those people like look they just go wherever the green candles are. That's the best marketing. It's just green candles. Um, and it's like they'll show up whatever Cardano does go on a run. All those people will be here, and they'll be like, I told you for years, Cardano's amazing." Because they don't like that's just what they do. They're just they're just it's social. It's a social grift. So like, you don't need to worry about them. You also don't really need to facilitate their engagement farming because that's what a lot of that is. They're just pissing you off so that you respond, and then it gets their numbers up.
Yeah, no, 100% though, because like I know, a lot of people were. And it was crazy though. I was approached. There was actually a secret Discord. I don't know if you're a part of it or not,
Oh
or
boy.
whatever though. But of founders that kind of like go like together and kind of like get support because they don't really get it from the so-called quote unquote influencers, of
Hmm.
Cardano, right? They
Okay.
feel like if you're not the Ape Society, and I'm gonna go ahead and say it, right? I'm not taking shots at Ape Society, but if you're not like the Ape Society, then you're nobody, right? And especially like even Apex, House of Titans when he first came here and
Yeah.
started kind of building, man, there was like a huge just like, oh no, man, like everybody was just out to get him, and he had constantly had to defend himself. Even Shaz with Denketsu, um when he was trying to do his collection, moving it over to Polygon, dude, he got met with a lot of like, oh, blah 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 blah, rug, you're
Hmm.
diluting the collection. It was just from all these people, the quote unquote, like I say, the influencers of Cardano, right? And I guess everybody's just kind of wanting like the people to actually embrace this culture, right? Who knows if these guys are going to rug or not? I'm not saying like definitely not Shaz or
Yeah.
Apex, but I'm just saying like you can't just meet everybody that comes in here to try to build something. I mean, to just say, oh, they're just rugs. We're not going to support them. We're not going to
Yeah.
have space with them. We're not going to do anything like that. And I think that's the kind of one of the things that frustrate a lot of people that are trying to build here is that
For
you're not the
sure.
ape society, you're not shit,
Yeah.
basically.
Well, okay. So I'll say a few things about that. Number one is any creator, and I don't care what chain you're on. Any creator, you need to be your own influencer, and you need to be doing that from day one. And I know that's difficult and it's hard to hear because it takes years to do that. It takes years to build up any sort of a following, and that just kind of sucks, right? But you got to
Mhm.
do it. You have to do it yourself. You have to build a community around you that trusts you, and the only way they're going to trust you is if you have to deliver. You got to deliver and deliver and deliver. And you got to show up and show up and show up. It's just hard work. And that's number one. Don't rely on other people's influence. Like you just can't. If you get it, great. But don't expect it. Don't rely on it because that's another thing. These influencers, what they have is influence, right? That's their
Yeah.
currency. So they're very cautious about who they, or at least they think they're cautious about who they're pushing, right? And a lot of times they might not actually have the best judgment, they might actually pick a rug over a builder because they just don't know any better. Or maybe
Mhm.
maybe how they got introduced through someone they knew, and so it was like, oh, okay, this is probably safe, and then it's not. And they're just doing their best. A lot of these people are just in their like 20s, and they're just kind of like hot people, and so it's like, like what do you can't expect, So like I don't know. That's another thing is that people need to probably stop looking at these influencers as like investment specialists. Like there's a
Yeah.
reason like you have to disclose endorsements because like dude, these people don't know. Nobody knows what's going to work. Like,
Yeah.
and it doesn't matter how influential they are. But there's this interesting tautology, right? Because it's like if influencers are talking about a project, it's much more likely to succeed. And so it's like I get why that exists. But people have to be careful, and yeah, it would be nice if influencers had I don't know, some better vetting processes, because it has been frustrating. I'll say on Cardano specifically, it's like there is some sort of inner what do I call it? Like a glitterati, this inner glitterati of of influencers and like
Hmm.
people who are maybe close to the foundation or whatever it is, or maybe they go to all the events or something, and yeah, it does, like this sort of like social cabal thing starts building up.
Hmm.
But build your own cabal, build your own cabal. Try, if you want to be in that cabal, then do the things that they do, and that's great, and you can do that. But yeah, like everybody needs to just basically build their own network. Your network is your net worth, and that's some real shit, and it's even more real in crypto.
Yeah, no, definitely, and we want kind of like the best things for Cardano, because I do think there are a lot of good people here, right? A lot of good people,
Oh yeah,
that are trying to. I do believe that Cardano has like a lot of potential in it, right? But the one thing that does bother me, and somebody in the comments said it, I believe it was the Toasty show. I think he said, yes, the Cardano Foundation are not a fans of NFTs and meme coins, which I think. I mean, look, man, I get it, man. Cardano Cardano is changing the world, right? I get where they're trying to go, right? I get all these things that they're trying to do, man. But
Attention.
what makes money, right? What
yeah,
brings people here is like some of the degen type stuff, like the NFT stuff, the meme coin
yeah,
stuff, right? Like Snake, on the other hand, right? I mean, that took a while to kind of get off until now. People are actually, I believe Charles acknowledged it too as well. That okay, cool, but it's only like just one, but like it's just they don't really want to like adopt that culture. And as we have the same problem on Polygon too as well. We're trying to get them to adopt that kind of like that degen mindset because you need it to bring people here. If not, we're just going to be it's just going to be us five or us 100 people like you said, and
yeah,
it's just going to be us. You know what I mean? Like people want to come here and make money. I mean, I love it. Great.
yeah,
You want to change
yes,
the world. You're doing stuff for Africa. Amazing. But I mean, people want to make money. You know what I mean?
dude, 100%. And by the way, that it's actually a difficult thing to accept for I think a lot of the builders who are attracted to Cardano are attracted because there's kind of like an ethos there of like, oh, I think this system or this protocol might be sufficient to make real change in the world, right? At least, and that's what I was. That's how I felt about it, and I still feel about it that way. But that can attract a certain level of naivety as well, I
Hmm.
think. And there's just realities of like, look, there's 100,000 blockchains out there now. In a lot of in for most use cases, for most of these people, they're not going to look into the technical specs of your
Yeah.
blockchain. They're actually not capable of it. And it's not a slight against them. They're busy. Like they're just busy people. They're doing other stuff, or they're just not that they're just not that interested in it. I remember in the video game industry, there's a similar thing. When I first started making games a while back, one guy who I know who works in like one of the big game firms. I was asking him just like tell me some stuff about the game industry. And he said the only thing you need to know is that the games that we like are not actually popular. He said what's popular is Kim Kardashian's mobile app game. It brings in like $1 billion a year or something like that. It's like that's where it's at because that's most people, and it's like, oh, okay, and that can be kind of I think that can be tough for people who are sort of have an idealistic streak in
I
them.
get yeah.
Yeah.
No, I get it, man. I get it. I mean, you're technical and you love it, man. But honestly, people want explosions. They want hot chicks. I mean,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Meme
Yeah.
coins. They want to be able to do all these
Razzle
things.
dazzle. Yeah,
Yeah, of
that's
course,
right.
man. Like lifting weights. You know what I mean? Hot chicks. You know what I mean? All these
Yeah.
things, right? And it's just
Which
honestly
is
like,
awesome, by the way.
which
That's the thing.
honestly,
It's
I think
actually
people like.
awesome. And if you just marry those things together, it all works. It's great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. And then you can throw in some DeFi stuff and like, you know what I mean, and throw it all in there. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess Charles is not really, and the foundation not really keen to that. But also the same issue exists on Polygon. Polygon's gotten a little bit better with it though. They're at least trying to kind of be more, kind of show that degen side of themselves though. But I just think that to bring people here and some of the like if you start with these normies, right? If you would have caught me when I first got into crypto and you started breaking down like liquid staking and yield farming and everything like that, dude, I've been like, dude, that is some nerd shit. Like
Well, what are we talking?
I don't want
Yeah,
to hear that.
yeah. Give me the meme coin, Jesus. Yeah,
Yeah,
we can't. And that's really what it is. They want to be like, "What's the ticker?" I mean, I
yeah,
spent a fair bit of time on Solana a couple months ago because I like trading. I like meme coins. I like
oh
all
yeah,
that stuff, and I got to see kind of like what people were doing, what people were responding to, and then just also this sort of just like this endless industrial churn of these meme coins. It was like, whoa, what is this? And like what people are actually paying attention to. It's weird, bro. It's so weird.
yeah.
But it's okay. This is also I actually think there's some value in all that stuff. I actually think there's value in it's almost like metamorphic value transfer. And what I mean by that is like so like the dollar, for instance, is like it's decaying like before our eyes.
Mhm.
I actually think the same will probably happen to Bitcoin, but it's going to be a long time. I mean,
Yeah,
hundreds of years or something. Who knows? I think the same will happen there, just because at some point a mass of humans is going to say, "We can barely get any Bitcoin. You guys have it all. You guys
mhm.
have all the Bitcoin. I'm not buying that anymore. I'm going to go buy Bob coin over here because I know Bob
Yeah.
and he's funny and he's and whatever I can get more Bob coin and that people take it, and so I think there's this sort of like this endless sort of churn of value that's going to happen with these currencies, and I think that's okay, and I think memes are just kind of the tip of the spear for that. It's like, oh, okay, this is what gets the eyeballs. This is what people people vibe with.
Yeah, no, like definitely. I just like I said, I wish the foundation and Charles a little bit more. Kind of would push maybe like a
Bro,
retweet
yeah.
here and there. Maybe not just so much all the time. Ape Society, maybe some of the others too as well though. But
Bro,
I did
100%.
notice though too today though you're on a space with the House of Titans. You're going to be doing something with them, correct?
Yeah. But one last point on that. Yeah, I will say a lot of other chains, the foundations are actually like funding some of these projects. They're like,
AVAX.
yeah, yeah, yo, come, yes, build here, please. We want people to come here and build here, bro. Cardano can do that too. Cardano should do that too. Um,
I
yeah,
mean,
spending
AVAX is
like
a meme coin rush. I mean, I big shout out to AVAX. AVAX literally said like, "Hey, we're gonna do all this stuff." Blast. I'm sorry, is it? No, I think it's Base or Blast is doing
blast.
like an
Yeah,
ambassador type DAO too as well.
yep,
Um,
yep.
things like that. I mean, those go a long way.
They go a long way. It's active work to bringing people to the chain, and that's like really what you kind of have to do. This idea that we're gonna have this one killer app that brings everybody into the chain, I think is like very foolish. I think that's unlikely, and it could happen. It could happen and be amazing. It's like, oh wow, if that does happen, but I think that's a very unlikely thing. I think there's a billion chains out there now, and like you've got to be competitive, and I hope that they're kind of thinking that way, and I hope they continue to think in that direction a bit more. And if not, I'm happy to go live and tell them why they should.
No, definitely, definitely though. But like I said, you are doing something with actually speaking of Apex,
Yeah.
House of Titans, right? What are you going to be doing with them, or what kind of services are you going to be offering for them?
Yeah, so we touched on our miners a little bit. I've got that video playing for our Nexus miners below as well. So our Nexus miners are basically reward passes for the mine that we're scaling. We happen to live in a place where the power is exceptionally cheap. Some of the biggest Bitcoin miners in the world are here specifically because of that. And I happen to have the land for it, and I've
Oh,
basically got I've got the capital to start it up. So I'm like, I was doing this anyway, so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to integrate all this stuff together. It's going to be awesome. So that's our Nexus Miner initiative, and that's how we're getting the mine started. Apex and I go back a couple years now, and when he started House of Titans and it's kind of the mining uh, side of the house with Kingdom Trust, I was like, oh, that's cool. And I was just basically like constantly trying to get more info about this, and like I read their whole white paper and all that, and I was like, okay, I think, I realized at some point I was like, I think we can be more competitive than this. Obviously, the scale's very different because there's like a major mining farm out there and all that stuff, but just power costs alone are huge, huge, and we have like it's something like 35% lower cost or something, just massive. So I was like, Apex, look, I'm doing this. If you guys want to mine with us at all, just let me know. I'll give you guys some slots. Um, so that's what we're doing, and he's gonna basically probably be taking up like between 15 and 17 mining slots for our first site, and then we'll see how it goes. If it all goes well, we're also able to kind of copy paste the design and keep growing if we want to. So we'll be providing basically mining services for House of Titans, and hopefully that will happen here very soon. We've already got our plans out to the power company, and they've already examined all the stuff, and they think by the end of July should have everything in. So once that happens, hopefully we can get some hash moving. We've already got a little bit of hash moving here on my property, but those are just kind of small potatoes, proof of concept type stuff.
Wow, that's super impressive, man. And I like the fact that you guys are like working together and working in the ecosystem and supporting each other. And I love the fact that you guys have the mining stuff. You said you already got the land, you got all that stuff like worked out for you too as well. I know you said there's a gaming side to Cardania and everything like that. And I love gaming, right? And I'd love bringing it up to people, that love gaming and Web3, right? But it's kind of as of late. Web3 gaming has kind of been seen as like kind of a joke in a weird kind of way, right? It's kind of
Yeah.
like anyone really kind of takes it serious, right? Only a select few people kind of like take it serious. And where do you kind of see like do you ever think that Web3 gaming or what actually just NFTs or whatever the case may be will be accepted by like the normal gamers? And like if so, like how far are we out from that?
Yeah, I think it's not only going to be accepted, I think it's going to be demanded. I did like an hour and a half long presentation on this for the University of Georgia about 6 months ago, and for their blockchain class. Shout out, UJ. Um, and I think it's going to be demanded because at a certain point, humans are very good about understanding fairness. And if you are spending all of your time playing a game but you're not getting any rewards for it. That's only okay so long as the person next to you is also playing that same game. If the person next to you is playing a game and also earning $20 a day or something, who knows, whatever number, but they're doing the same thing and they're earning, uh, eventually you catch on, and you want the same deal. So it's inevitable. It's not just that it's going to be accepted; it's going to be demanded. I know if you're a parent, do you want your kids just spending all their time and getting no returns, or just giving these companies money to get rugged later, or do you want them to, like, when they're done with a game, they get to sell back some assets and maybe they get $10 back, and then they get to use that to buy the next game or whatever it is. Makes a lot of sense to me. It also teaches people a little bit of asset management,
Hmm.
and kind of low risk, like a low risk setting. Just makes a ton of sense to me. And then there's also just crazy things that can happen now with, like, Cardano, for instance, is so interesting because we can have like this interoperable set of tokens between games. So you could have a game, or you could have a token that works here in Cardania and then also works in several other games in the ecosystem. And that's something that just doesn't exist anywhere else. So I'm super super excited to see where that goes and to participate in it, because we're already doing it. But yeah, there's just only so many people who know about it right now. So yeah, I think it's going to be the standard. I think it'll be the industry standard, and I do think it's going to take a decade. It'll probably take a decade for it to get there. There's going to have to be a few hits that use NFT tech, that people get excited about, and I do actually think those will be major wins for, like, crypto in general. But like right now, I'd say the closest thing we have to that is probably Roblox.
Yes.
They're Yeah, my kids love, man, they love Roblox, and I've played
Yeah,
it with them.
Cole.
It's a lot of fun. It's pretty good. Um, and the way that they deal with sort of in-game items and letting people upload their own items and sell their own items for Robux and all that, it's basically an NFT game ecosystem, and Robux is sort of their crypto. It's just that they have a slightly different model. Um, so that's onboarding millions and millions of kids right now, whether or not they know it.
Yeah, but you say that, right? And people see it, right, with Roblox and everything like that. And even you know, as of course the Grand Theft Auto game that's going to be coming out, right? There's a rumor that actually that's going to have some form of crypto in it, right? Some form of
Mm.
Web3 tie-in, right? There was kind of like that rumor kind of teased, right, and everything like that. And I was kind of reading down the comment section of some of that stuff, and man, it was everybody was just flaming it, like, oh no, keep crypto out of like gaming, and like, why do you think gamers are so against having like that NFT tech? It makes sense though, but like, why are
Oh
they
yeah.
so against it? Because you could make money off that. I don't know. I don't understand it though. But why do you think
Okay.
they're just so hesitant for it?
I know I have at least a theory of exactly why they're so hesitant for it. It's because they're so used to being basically scammed and abused by these companies over the last several decades. So if you remember gaming like 20 years ago, you'd buy the game, you would install the game. You could install it on as many computers as you wanted to. You could play it with your friends. You owned the game. That was it. It was, and that, it's like a book. It's like you own the book. And then
Mhm.
slowly over time, it became like, look, this is now a digital download. You don't actually physically own the game. You can only download it on X amount of computers, and that's like, oh well, we're gonna need you to always be online too, so we can verify that, you only have the one copy, you're not pirating it. Oh, and that'll help us with cheating or whatever too. And then we're going to, we're gonna have expansion packs, which means we're not actually giving you the full game. We're giving you a version,
Yeah.
the basically the beta version, and then the expansion pack will be really good. And then we're actually not even going to do expansion packs. We're going to break this up into what we're going to call this downloadable content. And you're going to give us $5 every single time you want this new piece of downloadable content. And so at the end of this like train of nonsense, you don't own the game. Even when you buy it, you have to make 12 other purchases to even get to play the full version. And that sucks. And yeah, you always have to be connected, so you're always being monitored. So you can always be kicked off if you say the wrong thing in chat or something. And it's over for you. You're done.
Yeah.
All of that stuff means that anything that these game companies come up with, I would say it looks scammy. I'd say no, don't do it. Especially because people already have a negative connotation of crypto just because they don't, if they don't know or interact with it. And they're like, oh god, now they're going to add crypto to the game. This is going to be another way to extract money from me. When in reality, it's actually how they take back the power. It's how players take back the power. Um, but they don't know it yet. They got to see it. They got to experience it. And I think they will. I think they're going to. And I hope we're doing a good job of it here in Cardania. And hopefully we continue to do so. Um, and hopefully other projects in the ecosystem do too.
No, no, I love that theory, and that's great. That makes a lot of sense, though. But as we talk about like gaming, right, Bitcoin and everything like that, and of course the NFT ecosystem and everything, I do want to ask you though too, Kevin Bob, like what other sector of crypto are you like most bullish on? Whether it be like RWAs, GambleFi, or anything like that. What do you see in this next kind of like bull run that we're going to have? That's something that's going to be pretty big.
Dude, like it's tough for me because I'm so bullish on all of it to like pick out a single one. I think the AI and crypto integration is pretty obvious for me.
Hmm.
I think you're gonna see. I think everyone's gonna have basically their own automated AI trading bot, if not one, then multiple of them, all the time, just running all the time. And it'll be silly if you don't at some point. They'll be like, oh, you don't have a trading bot. What are you doing? Um, it's just gonna be it's gonna be like standard. Um, so I'm very very excited about that kind of sector. I even designed one that I think would be cool, but we haven't, not quite there yet. Um, but that kind of thing, I'm super super excited about. Any crypto and AI integrations, not any, some of them are gonna be dumb, but crypto and AI integrations I think are gonna be great. Similar AI, crypto, and games. That little trifecta is so interesting to me because you can get AI agents basically, populating the world and running your economy and just doing different stuff. It starts looking like some real Westworld stuff, like real fast, which is amazing. It's cool. It's
Yeah.
weird. It's super weird, but that's just kind of the time we're in right now. It's all very weird. So that's kind of where my head's at. I do like the RWA stuff, the real world asset stuff. Um, I like DeFi in a lot of different capacities. I think like decentralized lending and all that kind of stuff is pretty fascinating. It's not in my wheelhouse,
Yeah.
But I like it, and I'm excited to see it thrive. Traditional, the traditional finance system's a joke. It's just nonsense. Um, it's gate kept, and it's just overall quite bad. So, uh, and then I do think there's going to be. I'm not like excited for like the concept of a central bank digital currency. I
Hmm.
am excited for the concept of money to stop being fake, though. So like if nations start issuing their own cryptos and they're good, and they're not perpetually inflationary, I think that's a net benefit for humanity. And if they're not tied to a bunch of other crazy stuff, I think that's a net benefit for humanity. But we'll see how it plays out.
No, definitely. But do you have a dark horse? Something that maybe that's not really mentioned much.
Dark horse. Let me think. Let me think about that for a minute. Not mentioned much. Not offhand. I'll think. We'll keep talking. If it comes to me, I'll let you
Yeah,
know.
no worries. But also with with
Hmm.
Cardania too as well. Like you have like the gaming like tokens, right? You have like all of this stuff
Hmm.
that you guys are doing. Like, what else do you guys have coming down the pike, or something that you're really excited about that you would like to talk about?
Hmm. I mean, that's broadly the
Yeah.
stuff, right? Like that's like all of that. If we do all of that well, I'm gonna be so happy.
Mhm.
I will say that our like the multi-chain integrations for the Nexus start to look really interesting once we scale those out. I'm very interested and keen on tying both our RAD token and the Galactic Goods token into sort of our mining operation, because I think there's just some interesting opportunities for how liquidity moves there. And other than that, like I'm kind of at like a steady as she goes point with all this. I think our current setup here is sustainable. I think it scales very well. I think it's regulatorily compliant with just about like with everybody, and I think we've basically built. When I say like I call it a space station. Like I think we've basically built like V1 of the space station right now, and like I don't know exactly where that goes. Maybe we stack a dex on it. Maybe we stack an NFT marketplace on it. Maybe we stack some other stuff as we go over time. But I think I'm very happy with like where we're at currently, and I think we just need to keep releasing good games, and integrating chains and talking to more communities. And I think it's gonna take care of itself basically.
Yeah, no, that's great, and yeah, like I said, you guys have been around for a while, so everybody kind of watching this too as well. These guys have been grinding through, and they're actually able to make it through this bear market. So that says a lot of great things about this team, though. But kind of like kind of before you go or everything like that, like I do want to ask you, a year from now, right? Like 1 year net, 1 year from now. I don't like using the 5 year or 10 years or anything like that. But a year from now, where would you like to be, and what would you like to have accomplished?
Hmm. A year from now, I hope we have at least our first site.
Hmm.
You know, just been has been humming for quite some time, and I hope we're working on site two. And then I also hope we've got Enter the Ultraverse released as a multi-chain uh, competitive trading card game. I hope we've got liquidity moving effortlessly between Bitcoin and Cardano, and I hope our community is maybe 3 to 4 times bigger than it currently is. I'd be pretty happy with that. And just being just hanging out with the community as it is. I'm like so happy, and I'm just super grateful to be where we're at. So any more than that, a man can't ask for. But we'll see where it goes.
No, yeah, that's great. And Ken Bobbio, I do appreciate you coming on and everything like that. And, talking about Cardania and talking to me about like the whole ecosystem too, as well, though. But before you go, right, is there anything else you want to say or any kind of community members you want to shout out or anybody you want to shout out in general?
Got there's like 100 of them. Shout out to our lead dev, Eustasia. Big shout out, love you. Shout out to the whole Cardania community. Shout out to Apex House of Titans. Appreciate your business, and looking forward to mining for you. Um, Shout out to Cardano. Remember, you don't have to engage with the trolls. You just have
Yeah.
fun. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be great. Um, Shout out to the Bitcoin community. Excited to bring you guys into the Nexus, and that. that's pretty much it. Shout out to oh wait, I have one more. This is an important one for everybody. Shout out to my mom. Mother's Day is coming up, and for all of you who aren't aware, Mother's Day is coming up. Make sure you mark it on your calendar. At least give her a call. Get her a gift. Do what you got to
Yeah.
do. There you
No,
go.
100%. And, shout out to all the moms and everything like that, definitely. And, Captain Bob, I do appreciate you coming on. We're going to be doing these live streams every week, so you're welcome to go ahead and come on anytime you guys like. I'm going to have next week the
Oh, sick. Thank
Investronaut.
you.
Believe I'm saying that right. We're going to be talking about, what's wrong with kind of Cardano, what's kind of, how to get this kind of ecosystem some more culture. And guys, if you like content like this, please like, comment, share, subscribe, follow me on X, and I will see you guys around on the next one. Take care.
All right. Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you, buddy.